Good morning, children. So, children, again we are with the new revision video of the lesson Money and Credit. First part of the chapter already we have revised in the first video. In that part, we revised about what is money. Then we also revised about barter system, the essential conditions for barter system. What is barter system? What is an essential condition so that barter system can be done? In that we discussed about barter system is a system in which exchange of goods takes place with goods. The buyer and the seller, they don't do any exchange of money. Goods are exchanged with goods. This is known as barter system. And essential condition with barter system is double coincidence of bonds. Then children, we also discussed in a previous video regarding modern forms of money. And in modern forms of money, we discussed about currency notes, demand deposit, check, and different type of modern currencies that are used are ATM, debit card, credit card. All this can be said as modern forms of money. So, we discussed all these points in a previous video. So today we'll proceed with further what we have to do in this chapter. First we will start with the loan activities of the bank. What are the different loan activities of the bank? In loan activities of the bank, we can say that bank acts as a mediator between the borrower and the seller. As I taught you in my lesson in the previous video before 1 or 2 months when I started this lesson, now it is a trend that nobody keeps money cash in hand. Or suppose in past, if you are an officer or a daily wage worker, you got your salary cash in hand. But now this is not the system. Either you belong to lower post or higher post or labor class, your account, your money directly, your salary or wages directly goes in bank account. Now children, first when people got money in cash, they kept that cash in the lockers. But now as the money comes in bank account, it is a trend that people, they don't withdraw the total salary from the bank. They only withdraw the certain amount which is required for the expenses. And when that money is over, once again they withdraw. Isn't it? So this is the system. So the people of our country, deposit is with the bank. And that we discussed in a previous class that from deposit, if people want to withdraw, it is known as demand deposit. But this deposit remains as reserve in the bank for the people, those who deposit their money. Now children, you would be thinking that why bank is doing this work? They are keeping your money also and they are doing a favor to you by just keeping your money safe with them, and in exchange to that, in return, they are giving you rate of interest also. But behind giving this rate of interest, bank also has its own interest in that. That interested? Bank does business with your money. The deposits which are there in the bank. What does the bank do? It does not keep the deposit with the bank safe. What they do? They do not just keep that deposit. What they do from that deposit only, what they do? They lend the money to the borrowers. They give that money in the form of loan. That means bank acts as a mediator between the borrower and the lender. So, and the money that gives bank in the form of loan, in return of that, bank charges rate of interest. If you want to take loan from the bank, you have to give certain rate of interest, then you will get money from the bank in the form of loan. So bank gives loan to the people, those who need, from your money which you have deposited in the bank. So here bank mediates between the borrower and the lender. That means the people, those who are in need, are being given money from the people, those who have surplus money and they have deposited in the bank. And one thing bank has to keep in mind while lending the money in form of loan, whatever deposits are there in bank, from that deposit, bank has to keep at least 15% in the form of cash reserve so that bank can just repay the money on the withdrawals of the people, because many people withdraw money from the bank from the deposit, and people just they take out money from ATM cards. Even they just withdraw money by taking it by using ATM cards. So for such type of withdrawals for common people, because for the necessities they need money, they need cash, and for fulfill that type of requirements of people, what do bank do? They keep certain reserves, and that reserve that the bank keeps is known as cash reserve ratio, and this percentage it is fixed by Reserve Bank of India RBI, and that percentage is 15%. Bank keeps 15% of the total deposit as the form of cash reserve for fulfilling the withdrawal needs of the people. So like this the bank functions. It gives loan from the deposits of the people. Now after this, we will discuss that what does RBI do? The functions of RBI. RBI plays a very important role in functioning of the banks in our country. The first and foremost function is RBI supervises that all the banks in our country, they are following all the rules and regulations or not. Suppose the rule is to keep 15% as a cash reserve. No bank can just dare to keep less than 15% in the form of cash reserve. They have to keep 15% as a form of cash reserve, and this is supervised by RBI. Even RBI sees that the banks of our country, they are giving loan to middle class and the small scale industries also. The only bank RBI supervises that the bank should give loan to the poor and unprivileged people also at a reasonable rate of interest. RBI also sees that all the banks function in a proper way and they fulfill the needs of the people of the rural area also, and they think something about the poor people also. This is the function of RBI. RBI also issues currency notes on direction of central government. So these are some of the functions which are done by RBI. That means RBI is the head of all the bank. It supervises all the banks in our country and sees whether they work in a proper way or not. So these are the functions of RBI we have discussed. So there is one question in your book that cheap and affordable credit is essential for any country, for the people of countries, especially developing country or poor countries. If this type of question comes in your exam, you have to write, what is cheap and affordable credit? Cheap credit means the credit or the loan that is available to the common people at a lower rate of interest. If the loan and credit is available to the people at lower rate of interest, what will happen? People will be able to do all the developmental activities. Suppose the small farmers, the medium farmers in our country, instead of taking loan from money lenders, they can take loan from bank at a low rate of interest, and they can fulfill their working capital needs. They can also do the other activities, and they don't have to take loan from the money lenders, because these money lenders charge a very high rate of interest. So due to this, for any country to develop, people of that country, those who are not capable, those who are not so well to do, they should get loan at a lower rate of interest. And if they will get a loan at a lower rate of interest, then naturally they will be able to invest in the business, they will be able to do their economic activities. And if the loan is available at high rate of interest, they will not be able to do their economic activities, and the country will also not develop. Because for development of country, all the people, either they are rich, middle class or poor, if they will cooperate, if they will just work unitedly, if everyone will get the opportunity, if everyone will have the income, then only they will be able to develop. So if this type of question comes in your exam that cheap and affordable credit is necessity for development of any country, you have to write all these points. So you have discussed this. Now the next very important question that comes in your exam and very important point that we will revise is, what are the two main sources of credit? The two main sources of credit are formal and informal sources of credit. Formal sources of credit are those sources which give loan to the people at a reasonable and lower rate of interest. Example of formal sources of credit are banks and cooperatives. And informal sources of credit are those sources which give loan to the people at a higher rate of interest. And these sources, the example of informal sources are relatives, friends, then money lenders. And these relatives, friends and money lenders, they just give money. They lend money, they give loan. Taking loan from informal sources is easy. It is not so complicated. But they charge a very high rate of interest. But children, there is a contrast here. The contrast is, though the formal sources of credit like bank and cooperatives, they lend money at a reasonable and lower rate of interest. But mostly the rich section of our society, the upper middle class, they take loan from formal sector. The loan necessities of these people are satisfied by whom? Satisfied by formal sector, that is banks and cooperatives. And the poor section of the society, those who live below poverty line, mostly their financial requirements, the credit requirements are satisfied by the necessities are satisfied by informal sources, that is money lenders, friends and relatives. And these money lenders, friends and relatives, they charge a very high rate of interest. But why this type of problem, this type of difference is seen here? Why this type of contrast is there? The main reason is formal sources like banks and cooperatives for getting loan from this sector. Any individual, either he is poor or rich, anyone, they have to give collateral. They have to give some security in the form of land, salary slip, vehicle, or any type of property. And this type of collateral or security or property is not available with the poor section of society. So due to lack of collateral, what happens? This poor section of society, they take loan from where? They take loan from informal sector. So most of the credit necessities of poor people are being fulfilled by informal sources of credit like friends and relatives. And these friends, relatives and money lenders, they don't demand any collateral because they personally know the borrowers, and as they personally know the borrowers, for example your friends, they know you, the relatives, they are in connection with you. And what about banks? Because lakhs and crores of people, they take loan from banks, and if they start giving loans without collateral, what will happen? Most of the loans will be unpaid, and that's why it is easier to get loan from informal sector, isn't it? So in exam, the question can come, what is the difference between formal and informal sources of credit? You have to write whatever points we have discussed. So this will be just informal and formal sources of credit. And the last part of the chapter will revise is self-help group. Now children, what are these SSG or self-help group? Self-help group are those groups which are formed from the people below poverty line, the people those who are poor and living in one locality. They think that to satisfy their needs, the financial needs, instead of taking loan from money lenders, they form a group of 20 to 25 or 100 people living in one locality. They do collection of money that starts from 25 to 100 rupees according to the capacity, and form a group that is known as self-help group. In your book, group of women is been given. And in this group, money is lended whenever it is required by the people, by the member of their self-help group for working capital needs and other necessities. They help themselves from their own money, the requirements are fulfilled, and this is known as self-help group. So today we have revised once again self-help group. I have explained you in detail in my previous video. You can go and see it. We have discussed each and every function. Today, as it is a revision class, I have just discussed in short. So now at the end we will discuss most of the questions that are asked. In the first part I have discussed. In this part the questions that come are, what are the loan activities of the bank? What are the functions of RBI? Then a question can come, how self-help group is formed and what are its functions? Why self-help group is known as the building blocks of poor people? So we end this video, and in next revision video, in next class, we'll discuss, do another chapter of another part. Okay, thank you children.